Hello, and welcome to Jake's On First, the podcast where we talk about baseball's problems. The problem is no one is listening. Tonight, we have another team profile and projection coming at you. I'm joined by Hipple, Jake. How are you doing?
I am well doing, Mr. Fuss Jake, L.
Is your connection okay? Do you need to restart your internet?
No, I'm good.
Joining us from sunny Tampa Bay, Florida, please welcome the CEO of the Tampa Bay Rays, Steven Coelho.
Yep, I got promoted since the last podcast. And I have been fantasizing about this section of our team projection series for about 14 minutes now, so I'm pretty excited about this.
Well, let's jump right into it. Our next episode, we have our 8th place finisher from last season, the Southside Steelheads, owned by the Steven Coelho, the MLB executive, finished 4-2, our first winning record as far as our rankings go of the regular season. He was, looks like he was third for points for, which is pretty good to be in the top 50%. And also, he was also third in points against. So that's a rough way to play it. But you were just had about a positive 160 point differential. So that's playing right at 50%. A lot of close matchups last year. Hippo, why don't you
didn't have
us,
the pitching to prevent points from the other team.
Yep, gotta shore up
about the defense and the pitching.
Yeah, the defense was killing us.
Hippo, why don't you tell us about the keepers for this season?
All right. Max Scherzer, Nelson Cruz, Charlie Morton, Jesus Luzardo, Mike Trout, Corbin Burns, Yu Darvish, Randy Arozarena, Charlie Blackmon, Nolan Arenado, Anthony Rizzo, Fernando Tatis Jr., who actually just got hurt from throwing a baseball, and so he may be delayed to start the year.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Coelho, I mean, I think you know better than anyone what you need in the draft. So why don't you give us a quick take
Tell us your draft strategy.
What you think.
I'm not disclosing too much information. Catcher is going to be a need. Second base is always tough. Catcher is always tough. No relief pitchers is always an issue. But I'd rather have that problem than go into the draft having kept the relief pitcher. The real need is going to be players in the first 5 rounds of the draft because I don't have picks in the first 5 rounds of the draft. So Hipple's team on restriction is looking better than mine in the draft this year. So that's my need.
Quick look. It kind of looks like you could use some depth in the middle infield. You only kept one middle infield with Tatis, and especially if he starts the year hurt. Need to shore up those second base, shortstop, and infield slots. But I mean, looking
that
at
slot, we don't have that slot.
We have an infield slot.
Yeah, just an infield. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I thought you meant the second base / shortstop.
Oh, no. I'm saying just shore up some middle infielders.
Yeah.
But I will say, I am super high on Jesus Luzardo this year. I think he's going to have a really good year. I know he's been throwing all season with AJ Puck, which I'm also really excited about him. So let's see if some of the Oakland lefties can figure it out this year.
We should disclose that Fussell is a passionate Oakland A's fan and insider.
I will say more than an Oakland A's fan, I am a lefty pitcher fan, so that's also biased,
and a Matt fan.
I'm a Matt fan.
The Chapman and Olsen.
Oh yeah, I mean, who's not though? Let's be real.
I know they're the best.
So let's see who else. You got Charlie Morton should have a solid year for the Braves. Yu Darvish obviously coming out with good stuff. Yeah, Mad Max Scherzer. Do you think he stays healthy? I mean, kind of getting up there.
I see the decline. At best is a Clayton Kershaw decline, where when he's on the field, he's good, but he's not going to be on the field for more than 20, 25 starts, maybe 22 probably.
But
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be Roy Halladay where it's just boom, he's done. But last year was that once you get the back injury at that age, you're not recovering.
But we can still see like Max Scherzer can still be over his prime and still be like the ace on the Nationals this year.
Well, that's just because he's on the Nationals who have Strasburg, who's never healthy, and Corbin's been a lot more vulnerable lately. But Scherzer, I'm thinking he could be like a 3.8 ERA guy, but I'm not surprised he ends up in the 4s.
Oh my god!
I think that's a little downer.
Wow,
But
dude,
he's old and hurt, dude. Old and hurt.
Okay, can
Corey
I just
Kluber style?
Can we slow down for a second?
No, let's talk about how bad Coelho's team is.
No, let me ask you something. What are you? Since when is Max Scherzer injury prone?
No, I think with his age and last year, because you knew the decline would start at some point, and last year once he had the back injury, I think that accelerated his decline by age, and I think he's just going to start being a lot more susceptible to minor injuries. And I
mean, he's been having back spasms for a couple years, hasn't he?
I know,
right?
and at this age, it's just going to keep getting worse.
But I don't know that necessarily like makes him a less valuable pitcher. I think it's more of what you said. Like he may just not start 30 games this year.
No, I think it's gonna be a Kershaw thing, but I'm just saying I'm not surprised if he turns into a Kluber or Halladay where it just implodes.
But I tell you what, like it comes September and the Nationals are looking at the wild card spot in the NL East, like I guarantee you he's going to be out there 7 innings every single start.
Hippo, honestly, I'm going to back this up in a second, but you could have just said he's 36, and that alone kind of says what you're saying.
Thank you.
But you can't really back it up with any evidence other than the fact that he's 36 and other 36-year-olds tend to get hurt, because in his entire career, since he started a full season, he went 30 games, 31 games. These are all starts. 33, 32, 32, 33, 33, 34, 31, 33, 27 in 2019, and then 12 last year, which is basically a full season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't doubt that his back hurts, but I would doubt that anything would keep him from pitching unless it was a severe injury. Or even affect him. I mean, he literally he had a pitch to the black eye one game and he shoved.
I mean, my back would hurt too.
Gutted it out to a 3.7 ERA. If he gets it out, he's gonna be high 3s, low 4s. If they rest him, it'll be Kershaw where he's still in the 2s, but he's just not gonna give you as many starts. All right, Fossil.
My back would hurt too if I was carrying the Nationals pitching staff year after year.
Snap.
They had 2019, their pitching staff wasn't just him. It was
their pitching staff they got hot down the stretch.
Corbin
and the 2014 Tigers, when he was 21-3, that was the pitching staff.
Him, Verlander,
that team was built different. Let's be real.
All right.
So final takes on Coelho's team. Hipple, you got anything?
Corbin Burns, I know, is a hot topic of somebody that people think could break out. Maybe a questionable keep though. I would like to hear Coelho, other than the fact that I think analytics say that he's figured it out and he's going to be legit. And I know he can be, but I think that's somebody you could have redrafted. And then besides that, it's just Tatis being injured. That kind of hurts.
So as far as Corbin Burns goes, he actually wasn't originally a keep for me. I had Nate Pearson as a keep, and I unkept Pearson.
Smart.
And went with Burns. And honestly, Burns is like a top 70 ranked player. Typically, average draft position is the best indicator of redraftability. And his was very low, and it's for good reason. The old school stats said he was really good last year. The analytics said he was good last year because he just was. He's like, it's not just because his numbers were good. He was filthy too. So yeah, you said he could be a breakout this year. I think he broke out last year. So the question is, was it a fluke or not? And I think the actual like stuff behind it says it was not. So we'll see, because obviously there's still a risk there. But like the way I see it, his stats last year were comparable to Yu Darvish, and I think both of them are equally risky.
Yeah, Darvish, there's no way he repeats what he did last year, but he did do really well the year before, the second half of the season. Then great in the short season.
That's why I feel good about Yu Darvish is the year before.
And he's throwing
stride. He's going to San Diego.
Ooh, huge.
And then I think I'm worried a little bit on my team. I'm a little worried about Rizzo. He struggled a little bit last year. And I don't know, the Cubs just kind of scare me right now. I'm worried about Blackman just because playing on the Rockies sounds like it would be sad. And I don't know, I just feel like that can't be a good thing.
Oh, the Rockies.
And I am worried that Nelson Cruz will finally age this year. I feel really good about Arenado, even not in Colorado. And Mike Trout's pretty good. And I'm pumped about Arozarena.
My last take is, one, I love that Arozarena, you still get to like keep him as like a prospect, because it doesn't feel like he's a prospect, because I kind of feel like he's got to the bigs and he did it. Like that's like he doesn't feel like a prospect
because it was the major leagues.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing I will say
it's like a free rookie keeper. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I will say is that as long as the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim remain out of the playoffs, no fantasy team with Mike Trout will win the championship. And with that, we will finish up.
Actually, they're not the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim as of the last 6 years. They just randomly got rid of Anaheim and nobody noticed.
Well, you still work for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in my book, so I don't really acknowledge name changes like that. And with that, we will end this episode. Join us next time for another team profile and projection.
Do it.